everyone. Sorry for the delay. It's my fault this time. I actually crashed. I fell asleep. I did not get anything done. Well, I got something done, but not what we planned on getting done. So, good news is you're going to get another show tomorrow, early tomorrow night. Let's see. We're thinking like 8, 9 Eastern, right, Jeff? Did I get that right? I got that right? Somewhere around there. So there's going to be a bonus show tomorrow, which is actually supposed to be tonight's show. Jeff is muted.
Hey, Pushing. Hey, everybody.
Am I right? It was 8, 9 we discussed, right? Somewhere
Yeah.
around there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the main part of the show is going to happen tomorrow night at 8, 9. But we still have a couple Halloween rewinds tonight and Jeff's segment. So there is still something new tonight to watch, but I feel awful. I was in the middle of working, and next thing I know, I'm waking up, and it's 12:15, and I'm like, oh my god. And Jeff's like, Jeff was awake this time, and I was not. So, yeah, that's what happened. Really quickly, I am going to do a shout out. Let me see. If I can get to it. There it is. Okay, so Jackie is McCarran is the first one I can see. We have Kenraz, pushing button 62, and so far, Splatter 420's here. I'm scrolling, guys. Noise Guru is here. Hey, I was getting worried. I had not seen you in a little bit. So I was getting worried, but you're here. That's great. All right, guys. So that's all I can see so far. Yeah, see even pushing buttons like Noise Guru. Look, because we haven't seen you in a while. Well, it's not okay. I woke up in an absolute panic. Hey, Mr. Super. And Jeff was the calm one today. Jeff was like, we can just do it tomorrow. And I'm like, people are waiting. let's just let's get the parts done that's done, and then we'll do the rest tomorrow. Oh wow, you didn't have internet. That's awful. But that's okay because you're back and nothing was seriously wrong. I'm glad the internet is back. So Jeff, are you there?
Yeah.
Okay, so quickly I want to show the messenger stuff. Let's just get that out of the way. Um, I have a question for you all, but before we get to the question, now Jeff has seen this residue, but I have not. So it was not on my channel. So hopefully, to some of you, this is new residue. But because for me, it was brand new. But Jeff has seen it before. So some of you may have seen this like on Brian Stabley's channel or just on your own. This is residue for Ed McMahon from Johnny Carson, sent by Anita MacFarlane. Um, it it's between Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon, and Gary Shandling. Have you guys seen that one before? Because Jeff said he's seen it a few times, and I've never seen it. So I'm surprised.
Where did you send it?
I sent it to Messenger.
Yeah, but which one?
Oh, the one with Johnny Carson. You can see Johnny Carson. And
I
then the
don't.
one below it, you don't. Oh, I sent it here. I'm right here in Messenger. It's above the word here. So there's the game board, the orange, red, and yellow game board, and then above it is Johnny Carson. There you are. I see you now. No, 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 no. I almost just booted myself out of the show. That would have been great.
No, that ain't it.
There's only 2 video clips I sent you right in a row. Here, I'll bump it. Oh, it says couldn't send. Jeff, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It's clicking in my ear, and the video says could not send. So I'm going to unsend it, and then I'm going to try sending it again. Well, you want to let's ask him the question. You see the other video, right?
Yeah.
Get that one ready, and I'll ask him the question while this one decides to try to send. So that way we're not just waiting on a video that won't load. All right, guys. So here's the question. Do you guys remember the game show from the 80s, Press Your Luck? Like, nothing's wrong with Press Your Luck, but I need to know if you remember the TV series, the game show, Press Your Luck. And if you're outside the U.S., I don't know if it was aired outside the U.S., but it was definitely aired in the U.S. Pushing Button says yep. Noise Guru says no whammies, no whammies, yep. So here's my question. Yes or no? Hey, Richard. Yeah, I was just explaining. We're going to have another show tomorrow night early, like 8, 9 Eastern. I have no idea what time. If you guys could tell me what time it is in Australia right now, I could tell you around what time that would be. You know, like 4 or 5 hours earlier from now. So right now it's 1 a.m. here. So what was it 4 or 5 hours ago? Jackie does not remember. Fisherman says, stop. All right, so wait, here's the question. It's 3:01 p.m. Thank you, Jackie. So it's 3:01 p.m. there now. So like 11 a.m. noon tomorrow for Australia. That would be the showtime tomorrow. Okay, so yes or no, do you recall? What am I trying to say? Press Your Luck having an alternate name. So yes or no in the chat. Do you recall Press Your Luck going by an alternate name? Jeff, this time the video was delivered, so you do have it for after
Yeah,
we're
I saw
done.
that.
Okay, good. I don't know why it didn't go through the first time. All American shows and movies aired here, says Jackie. That's crazy. That's crazy, because we got nothing. We were lucky to get like Doctor Who from the UK. Like, I can't think of. Can you think of any Australian TV shows that we had here, Jeff?
No.
There was a movie, and they made a big deal about it coming from down under. Young Einstein, I think it was. Yeah, Young Einstein. Yeah, we just got nothing. That's crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Push a button.
Einstein
Push.
was bad.
Yeah. Push a button says, when it rebooted, was it whammy? No, I'm not talking about a reboot. I am not talking about a reboot. Blister in the Sun. I haven't thought of that song in so long, you guys. Gleaming the Cube, says Noise Guru. All right, well, I'm just going to, first of all, I'm giving a plug to this channel. It's awesome. Jeff, it's funny. I had subscribed maybe 2 weeks earlier, and then Jeff says, hey, you got to check out this new channel. And I'm like, I'm already subscribed. It's called My So-Called Gen X Life, and her content's pretty awesome. If you're our age, which, let's be real, according to my channel analytics, most of you are my age, in that age range. But yeah, she brings up stuff that you didn't even think of. Like there's TV series that are on the Mandela radar because of her that I have to discuss with Jeff. But yeah. Oh, thanks, Noise Guru. Noise Guru says I'm not 28. Hey, Michael Fontaine. Okay, so here is the issue. I'm going to add to the stage. Does anybody remember Second Chance, Second Chance? Yeah, Jeff, hit play. There's no sound.
That aired for a few months on ABC in
Let's start it over.
1980s reboot of a short-lived game show called Second Chance that aired for a few months on ABC in 1977. That game was retooled by creators Bill Carruthers and Jan McCormick and transferred into Press Your Luck, which made its way 1980s reboot of a short-lived game show called Second.
Yeah, so that's what I said. Hell no. I agree pushing buttons. I love this show. You're going to tell me I never heard of Second Chance? I don't know. It's shocking. I've never. When she said that, I was sitting there with my jaw on the floor. I'm like, Second Chance. I never heard of that.
Yeah, I never heard of it.
And the best part is, Jeff, telling the story, you saw this episode and you didn't even know this.
I didn't even notice this part when I watched it.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Why are they talking about this song, this ridiculous song?
Blister in the Sun?
Yeah.
I don't know how it started.
That's such a stupid song.
It does take you back to certain time periods of your life, though.
Yeah.
We were one when it came out. I was not one when this came out. In the 80s? Okay, now we're gonna get to, because I have nothing to show but this. I was just curious if anyone had ever heard of Second Chance, because it was just Press Your Luck for me. Maybe that's the thing. I live in a major city television market. If I lived in the middle of nowhere, maybe I could say, well, maybe they didn't show it to my market. But New York, Philadelphia, Chicago, Los Angeles, Dallas, Denver, Orlando. I'm probably missing a few, but they definitely got the preview stuff. Like it would have gotten Second Chance before Press Your Luck. And I can't imagine missing this. Noise Guru says that Blister in the Sun will get any other song out of your head.
I'd rather have their songs in my head.
Yeah, because he's right, though. Because then you'll have that one stuck in your head.
That's true. Yeah.
All right, it's so
dance song. I just don't get it. It doesn't make any sense.
A lot of songs don't make sense. All right, so let's get to the residue Anita sent me that you guys may have already seen. But again, new for me and was never on my channel, so we're going to show it. Ed McMahon residue. Pretty darn good. If you haven't seen it. Hey, Analog Line. I will make the announcement again that I made in the beginning of the show at the end of the show. Just so everybody's on the same page. As a matter of fact, after this show, I'm going to set up the next show. So that way it's already up. So you guys can set an alarm in case, because the time's going to be off. It's going to be weird for us. All right, so again, this was sent by Nina MacFarlane. Jeff has seen this multiple times. I have never seen this before. So we're showing it in case you're also like me and have never seen this before. So, hit play, Jeff. Oh, no sound again.
Okay.
You're okay. You can leave from here.
First guest you all know, he's a good friend and the star of his own television series, which premieres its new season this Sunday, 10th of September on the Fox Network and continues on Showtime. Mr. Gary Shandling.
Yeah, I fast forwarded it. I did not edit this.
Chris and Gary show.
Yeah, I'm sitting here and quite every
It's a good
show.
part in
Now,
that.
do you ever get tired of the theme? I mean, like every night you do it, and
You know,
it's
after a
like,
while, you don't hear it. You don't hear it sometimes.
Well, you got those plugs in evidently, but Ed. First of all, I want to say I saw Ed on the telethon, and you did a great job, and I was caught by surprise because I actually forgot it was on and flipped the TV on there, and you were there right in front of the tote board, and I thought for a second that the Publishers Clearinghouse sweepstakes had gone up to $42,000, $42 million. Yeah, right.
Did you ever get an envelope from him?
Yeah. Do you remember
I've
one
gotten
time?
one.
This is true. Do you remember one time I came on and I held up the envelope, and I actually got an envelope from Ed. It said, Ed McMahon says, you, Gary Shankling.
Shankling.
Sorry.
Shankling. So it was a real personal touch. I appreciate that.
Pause that for 1 second.
Computers have no personality.
Well, it looked like Ed.
So I challenge anyone to find that episode of Johnny Carson where Gary Shandling came on and held up the envelope with Ed McMahon on it that he refers to here. You think
It's
anybody can find
handwriting.
it? Good.
He does all those personally. Last time you were here, you did a hysterical
Did
routine.
you say, I'm sorry to interrupt, did you say you got one from him?
Absolutely. My wife, Alex, got one. I got one and says, mine was $10 million. You may have already won. And if I won, Ed said, I will present this personally to you on The Tonight Show. And of course, we would both be in prison immediately.
And yet your wife won $10 million.
Yes, she did. Yes. And possibly
All right, you can stop it there 'cause now it's irrelevant.
soon there may be another winner. But who
Because
knows?
I didn't clip
Who
it.
knows? Let's
Yeah, so if anybody can find that episode of Johnny Carson where Gary Shandling holds up the envelope with Ed McMahon on it saying, you may have already won from Publishers Clearinghouse, you got to send it to me. I'll show it because I'm assuming it doesn't exist anymore. Yet Gary Shandling has a memory of doing that. And they all remember getting envelopes from Ed McMahon for Publishers Clearinghouse. And again, Publishers Clearinghouse is said. And again, Ed McMahon does not correct anyone. It's amazing. They're correcting each other on 42,000 to 42 million. Oh no, I did get an envelope, and my wife Alice got one. They're all correcting everything. No one, but it's like Ed McMahon cannot correct that it was Publishers Clearinghouse, because I truly believe it was Publishers Clearinghouse when they recorded this. So, thank you for sending it in, Anita, because again, I've never seen it, and I'm guessing some of you have not seen it. Let's see. Who's getting sued? Archive Part 2.
He never corrected anybody except one time. Need Input showed a video on a channel he had a while back that he no longer has. He showed a video where I think it was Jon Stewart that was interviewing Ed McMahon. And he said Publishers Clearinghouse, and then Ed McMahon said, no, it was actually American Family Publishers. That was the only time I've ever seen Ed McMahon correct anybody. He never corrected anybody other than that.
Yeah, it's amazing. You would think, like, I don't know, for example, I worked at Friendly's. If someone said to me, I remember you working at McDonald's, I'd be like, you mean Friendly's? Like, I've never worked at McDonald's. Like, that would be the first thing I would say. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It's so bizarre to me that somebody would not correct something like that. I mean, I guess you could argue he doesn't want to interrupt the show. Oh, I lost Jeff, and now he's back. What happened? That was fast. Jeff? Are you there?
I don't know what happened. That was weird.
That is weird, but you're back already.
Yeah.
What? Are you really saying WTF is Friendly's? All right. To be fair, it wasn't nationwide, but it was nationwide. But it was specific states that they ventured out into, but it was more of a northeast corridor restaurant. It was a nice cream parlor / restaurant. And it's barely around anymore. I don't know if it survived 2020, which is sad. Because it was, have you heard of Farrell's Noise Guru? Because it was like Farrell's. It was, except better, because they really promoted takeout, where you go up to a window and order sundaes and take them home, and it was, or ice cream cones or fribbles or whatever. Fribbles were like a very thick milkshake. Curiouser, I overslept. Actually, not overslept. I did not intend to sleep. I was working, and next thing I know, I was waking up, and nothing's done. So, yeah, we're doing a show again tomorrow night. You're welcome to jump in if you like. You do have the link in the After Dark group on Messenger. But we're only doing a couple rewinds, Jeff's segment, and then we're coming back again tomorrow night. That's the announcement, by the way, to those of you that jumped in after the announcement. I can't remember the last time this happened to me, where I literally crashed before the show with nothing done. I believe it's new to you. It probably wasn't in your area, Noise Guru. But I did work there on and off, probably a total of 5 years. So I worked there during high school and during college, on and off at 2 different locations. So, Jeff.
We ready to show
the presentations, yeah.
From the top, right?
Yep, from the top. So I've chosen these presentations strategically because I have new stuff to show, not the last one so much, but the first 2. I have new stuff to show this year that requires you be up to speed of previous Mandelaweens. Just so we're all on the same page when I show the new stuff, I really should have shown the monsters, but I didn't bring that one. But anyhow, we're going to do this one first. So again, we're doing some Mandelaween rewinds to get everybody into the spirit of things, and because I need people on caught up before we get to the new stuff, this Mandelaween. So here we go. Here's the first one. And trust me, Jeff, this year the font will be much more readable. Readable? Is that a word? I don't know. But previously in the Emmy community, Wednesday Addams / Adams, because that was the first Mandela effect. I don't know who found that one. But some people remember 1D. I actually have the current memory of 2Ds. Wednesday Addams' dress changed from plain black to black with white pins all over it. So that was the second Mandela effect, was her dress. It was all black, and then it wasn't. Next slide, please, Jeff. Now her dress appears to be changing again. It's not black anymore. In the 1991 movie, it looks gray to gray-blue now, which isn't that big of a deal, except, well, actually it kind of is a big deal, because it was straight up black for me. The fact that it's gray is weird. Like, you can even see right there with her hair color. Her hair color is darker than the dress. Do you guys remember the dress being gray and not black? Anybody? Jeff? Are you there, Jeff?
Yeah.
You do or you don't?
It was black.
Noise Guru says black is such a happy color. All right, we can go on.
Let me go on.
Pushing Button says black for me. Wednesday's dress in the original TV series is blue now too. Yes or no in the chat. Do you remember Wednesday's dress in the original series blue? Can you zoom in on her on the bike? Like, that's like blue velvet. Do we see this? I mean, at least it's solid.
You think it could be like the way the light hits it or no?
I mean, it looks like velvet to me.
Yeah.
Which was very popular in the 60s, 70s, and even 80s. I had a lot of, I don't know if it was velvet or something that resembled velvet clothing. It was very popular in the 80s. Not at all, says Pushing Buttons. It looks green. Yeah, it's like a teal. I would say it's like a blue-green. It is. It's teal. We can go on. And the dress is blue in the 1990s cartoon. If you remember the cartoon, do you remember her dress being blue here? Why is it blue? It doesn't make sense.
No. It was never anything but black everywhere for me. Blue does not make sense. It doesn't go with her character. It just doesn't fit.
I agree. Like, Gomez was like, you know, like, actually, do I talk about Gomez in this one too? Let's just wait. Stranger still. That weird gray-green blue is the color of Wednesday's dress in the new animated film as well. It's not new now, but it was back then. So the Addams Family, they had like a Tim Burton-esque style remake. And here we again see a teal color. We can go on. I believe you, Jackie. I know so many people that remember it spelled Adams. So many people.
Not me.
So my bedroom door just opened on its own just now. There better be a cat jumping on this bed in 2 seconds. That was creepy. Okay. Also disturbing. People remember the blue dress, and the new Netflix live action series has a blue dress too. So there was a Netflix live action series before the one starring, what's her name? Help me here. Somebody help me, please. Before Wednesday. It's called Wednesday, right? The new one on Netflix. Well, not new anymore. Shoot, I cannot remember. Because I have not seen it. I think it's called Wednesday, right? Jenna Ortega. Jenna Ortega. Thank you, Noise Guru. I appreciate that because I could not think of her name. But yeah, so before Wednesday with Jenna Ortega. It's Ortega, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So before Wednesday with Jenna Ortega, there was another live action series on Netflix, and they also had a blue dress. Like, I don't. So while Christina Ricci's Wednesday may not be an in-your-face Mandela, it's still a Mandela worth noting because with the Mandela effect, things never stop changing. So here are Funko Pop dolls of the original Wednesday in a royal blue dress, the cartoon in a royal blue dress, the teal color of the Tim Burton-esque version. We have now I don't know if it's easier for you guys to see, but Christina Ricci in the top left, it looks blue, but in the bottom it looks gray. That is blown out. I will say that they have a lot of light on her. But look how light that dress is. That is just nuts. It was not light like that.
No.
Jackie remembers black.
Yeah, it was black.
So here's more pictures of it. Even the costume you can buy is teal, which is nuts. Now, the bottom right-hand corner, are you able to zoom in? Is that the residue, or is that the current reality dress? There is residue that I have shown of her in the black. No, that's current reality. There's a photo of her in the black dress. So, in this reality, they must have changed the dress at the last minute. So now we're on the green sides. This is residue of the black. Can we zoom in on the bottom right again? So Christina, I guess it's somebody's like, what's the word I'm looking for? Where they created it. They have Christina Ricci as Wednesday by Tim Burton. And this is totally, that artwork, this presentation is way before Wednesday was a series. So that's kind of crazy that they made a TV series called Wednesday, and here somebody made like a fake poster for a series named Wednesday.
That's what I remember right there.
Yep, plain black. And that's it for that one. Are you talking about Christina Ricci, Michael Fontaine? I mean, like the later ones when she was dressed up as her mom. I gotcha. The later, I forget which one, Addams Family Values, maybe? Is that the one where she was dressed up in the dress because she was older? Okay, Cat is on the bed. I'm not as creeped out about the door. Yes, says Michael Fontaine. Okay, so now we're talking about the Lost Boys. Jeff, if you want to read one, go for it, but I know these are hard to read because of the text.
I think I could read it. Yeah.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, Recall Vector covered the Lost Boys. Santa Clara had changed to Santa Carla. I just found some really interesting residue that had apparently changed when it was noticed or Cinema Sins guy shifted.
Santa Carla's crawling with vampires.
Oh, yeah.
You have this wacky story.
Yeah, you're going to want to read it first.
You can hear and see him say that Corey Haim says Santa Clara. He even gives the movie a sin for it. But he now says current reality, Carla.
Story to tell a loved one.
Santa Carla's crawling with vampires.
When you have this wacky story to tell a loved one, don't open with the flat facts like this. It will only get you laughed at or labeled insane. Also, he just called it Santa Clara, not Santa Carla. And since they'd already spent all that money on the neon.
Santa Carla's crawling with vampires.
When you have this wacky story to tell a loved one, don't open.
So, Corey Haim says Santa Carla, and he gives him a sin because he claims he called it Santa Clara. So, Cinema Sins guy has the current memory of Carla, but heard him say Clara, which is what I remember, what Recall Vector remembers, and I know a lot of you remember. It was Santa Clara.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was really interesting that he says, oh wait, play it again. Does he say, actually, in the subtitles, Does he say Clara or Carla in the subtitles? Corey Haim.
Open with the flat facts like this.
Santa Carla's crawling with vampires.
When you have
No,
this wacky
Clara.
story,
It says Clara. You
Yeah.
can see it right there. So I don't know if he
Santa
wrote
Carla's
in the I think he had to have written in the subtitles, right?
Yeah.
So he even wrote Santa Clara, even though Corey Haim says Santa Carla, which is kind of crazy. Anyway, go ahead.
But there's also a new change for me pertaining to the name of the town. Whether it was Santa Clara or always Santa Carla for you, in your memory, what was the name of the real town it was based on? Santa C. blank.
So, hey Dave, good to see you. Stick around to the end. It's going to be a short show tonight, and I'll be making an announcement because I'm just not going to say it again right now because I've said it twice already. I'm going to say it at the end. But, all right. So, a lot of people knew this when I presented it, the last time I presented this, but let's see if you guys remember it. Do you remember what the real town was that it was based on? So, in my past and in other people's memory, this took place in Santa Clara, but now it's Santa Carla. But this was based on a real town name. What do you guys remember? So Santa Cruz for Michael Fontaine. Pushing buttons saying Clara.
Yeah, I think Clara makes more sense, but I don't have a memory of it being different because I saw the movie for the first time a few months ago.
Really?
Yeah, I had never watched it until a few months ago.
Interesting. No idea, says Dave. Well, I'm going to tell you, I remember it being based on Santa Clarita. And it was filmed. Well, you can read it. Go ahead. Go on to the next one.
I 100% agree with Recall Vector on this. It was Santa Clara in my past, but it was based off of the landlocked Santa Clarita, California, which is near Santa Monica.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Santa Monica. I don't know why I wrote Saint.
Santa Monica and Long Beach, California.
So even though Santa Clarita was landlocked, in my past, when I read about the movie, because I saw the movie when it was brand new, you know, I remember reading that it was based off Santa Clarita. And that Santa Clara was a fictional town. And other people remembered this when I presented this. I'm not alone on this. Hey, Cuberts. You can go on, Jeff.
Santa Clara was not a real town in my past, but now it is a landlocked city near San Jose, California.
So Santa Clara was a fictional city. It did not exist, and now it does.
In this reality and the Lost Boys, the town is fictional, like Santa Clara used to be, and is based off of the real world town of Santa Cruz. Is this your memory, or do you remember it like I do?
Okay, so just to make it clearer, okay? In 1988, when I saw this, okay? The movie took place in Santa Clara, which was a fictional town, based off of Santa Clarita, which I may be bringing up, but if I don't, I'll tell you at the end. And so it was Santa Clara based off Santa Clarita, the real town. Okay? And it was always filmed in Santa Cruz. All right, so that's not, Santa Cruz is not the issue. But in this reality, Santa Clara is a real town, not fictional. It's based in the town in the movie is Santa Carla, which is a fictional town. And it's based off of Santa Cruz. So all different towns, all beginning with C. The same thing where it's a fake town based off a real town. But all the real towns and fake towns are switched. It's so bizarre. It's just weird.
I've heard of Santa Clara, though, as a real town.
Right, well, that's Santa Clarita.
No.
Well, you should have. Let's go to the next slide in case I mention it. And if not, I'll tell you at the end.
Speaking of Santa Clara sign, on the back of the sign, there was a message written in graffiti, blank capital of the world.
So what was in the beginning of the movie, as they're driving into town, they focus on the opposite side of the sign. And in graffiti is written a message. What is the blank? Blank capital of the world. What do you remember? And Jeff, you just saw it. Do you remember seeing the graffiti?
Yeah.
What do you remember? I mean, if you have the current memory, it's okay because you just saw it. I'm just curious what you remember.
Once, it doesn't really register completely.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. But I think it was murder capital.
Okay, so for you it was murder. Michael Fontaine, it was vampire. Pushing Buttons is guessing vampire. I can look into that, Jackie. I don't know that beach, but I will definitely look into it. Maroba. I will definitely look into it because that looks like something that would be a Mandela. Anyone else? You remember murder or vampire capital? I was curious. So Santa Clara is a big city, and that's the crazy part. Santa Clara was a fictional city in my past. Or vampire, possibly. Vampire, says Pushing Button 62. Oh, I knew that. I assumed it was an Australian beach. I just never heard of it. All right, we can go on. So, Jeff, you seeing the movie for the first time recently, you would have the current memory, and I'm not surprised. But for me, it was definitely vampire capital of the world. Go ahead, you can read it.
In my past, the graffiti said vampire, but now it says murder capital of the world, since most were listed as missing, not dead. This makes no sense. Do you remember murder? Yeah, that's what it said.
Right, but can you see my reasoning here? Most of the kids were missing. Why would it be murder if they're not dead?
Unless they're just assuming that they were murdered, yeah.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm getting at, Splatter. The Santa Clarita Diet. TV, it was a Netflix series, I believe, starring Drew Barrymore. Loosely based off the Lost Boys. Very, they were vampires, and Santa Clarita, because that was the town, the real town that the Lost Boys was based off of. When it was Santa Clara, the real town was Santa Clarita. And the Santa Clarita Diet, why would they call it that? Why would they call it the Santa Clarita Diet? I don't know if I mentioned it in the presentation or not, but we'll see. Go ahead.
Santa Carla is a fictional place, and it's supposed to be similar to the real city of Santa Cruz, but also there's a Santa Clara, California. So I guess the sin is lazy fictional town naming. Also, as mentioned, this movie takes place in Santa Carla, which is fictional for Santa Cruz, but they didn't bother to swap out the license plates.
Let's say Santa Cruz. So here's current reality, murder capital of the world. And here's people remembering vampire capital of the world. And in some case, I think there's residue of Santa Clara too. But here's Santa Carla. That's a close-up of underneath, so you don't have to zoom in. The vampire capital of the world, in 2 different articles, talking about the Lost Boys.
Yeah, apparently not. Apparently not, according to the Lost Boys.
Yes.
In this reality.
Whoa, go back. I don't know if I covered this. I may have covered this. So on the bottom left, Jamie Gertz, Jami.
Yeah, it's always been that for me.
Not for me. It was IE for me.
Well, that's the normal spelling of it. That might be why you think that, but her name was always different.
I've never seen her name spelled like that. I would pronounce it Jamie.
Yeah, I saw it way back in the 80s when she guest starred on Family Ties. I saw her name written like that.
Wow. That's weird. All right, go on. Hey, Orla Greg. Oh, yeah, I can't read that. That's too small.
Just vampire capital.
Did any of them say Santa Clara? Or are they all? Yeah, there's Santa Clara, the vampire capital.
See, these are the kind of things, like, even if I saw the movie more than once, I wouldn't notice it at all or even pay attention to it.
Thank you, Jackie. So here's Santa Carla, vampire capital. Santa Cruz, Santa Carla, vampire capital. The whole movie is about the town being taken over by vampires, yet it's the murder capital. That makes no sense.
Yeah, it doesn't. Should be vampire. That's the whole point.
Turn Santa Cruz into the vampire capital of the world. So that was the tweet, and that was the article they were referencing. I just showed you the article, too. Hey, Mustard Seed of Faith. Is that the end of it? So can you just do me a favor really quickly? Can you Google and show it on the screen, the Santa Clarita diet? Please.
Let's get rid of that.
Hey, Jennifer, good to see you. Jennifer says the grandpa says the name of the town at the very end of the movie also. Yes, but does he say Claire or does he say the current reality Carla? Because I have a feeling he says Carla now. And he says, he's like, something about, it's a nice town except for all those damn vampires.
Yep.
I haven't seen the movie in so long to know the exact quote.
Okay, so what is this now?
Okay, I have to put on screen. So the Santa Clarita diet, is there like a summary?
Some movie?
No, this is a TV series. Right there on the side, on the right. Drew Barrymore and Timothy Olyphant star in the Netflix original series as married realtors Sheila and Joel, who are living a great life raising their teenage daughter in Santa Clarita, California. I don't know. I just find it weird that they're doing. I thought it had some connection to the Lost Boys. But it's saying that it's a zombie. She's a zombie. Weird. All right, so that's even weirder that they chose Clarita, Santa Clarita, because again, that was the fictional town. The Santa Clarita was the real town that Santa Clara was based off of in my past in The Lost Boys. And now Santa Clarita is a landlocked town, and there's another movie about drinking blood, except it's a zombie instead of a vampire, called the Santa Clarita Diet. I don't know. It's just odd. But that may be a Mandela as well, because I remember this being loosely based off of The Lost Boys and now has nothing to do with it. So that's even more interesting. Whether Greg says the zombie series, saw that. There was another zombie series. She was a medical examiner. I forget what it was called. Maybe it was like iZombie. I'm looking that up real quick. Before we get, if you want to get the next presentation up, I do this really quick. Yeah, iZombie. That was the only one I remember about a zombie trying to live a normal life. Was iZombie. Yep, Michael Fontaine concurs. Oh, you never heard of it? Dave the Damo, The Lost Boys is a movie starring Kiefer Sutherland, Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, Jamie Gertz, Jason Patrick, Diana Wiest, or I think it's Diane Wiest now.
Yeah.
And people remember her name as Diana West. I do remember Wiest, but
Yeah,
it was Diana. Huh?
It was always Wiest. I think that's a case of just people remembering a more popular name, which does happen.
Possibly, but it was definitely Diana for me, and I think it's Diane Wiest now.
Oh, really?
I think. Let me look. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I have not looked at it in a while. Yeah, it's Diane. I did cover that. I know I covered that. It was Diana for me.
Yeah, I think that's what I remember too.
No, stop. Jennifer, is that how he spells his name? Hold on. Now I got to look up Corey Haim. Hold on, because I remember EY. And she wrote Y. Okay, it's still EY for me. So I have the current memory. If you remember CORY, that could be a Mandela for you. It was EY for me, though.
EY for me too.
All right. In the 60s through the 80s, this jack-o'-lantern tale was very popular with trick-or-treating children. I think it still is for the really, really younger ones. Can you tell when I covered this? Mandelaween 2020. There are two major changes from me to the most common style of this pumpkin tale. Number one, describe the eyes, and number two, describe the mouth. If you've already seen this, please answer what you remembered before you found out what it is now. We use pillowcases too, Noise Guru. Jennifer says, that's how I spell Corey. Gotcha. Triangle eyes, says GT1982 Mustang. Good to see you. Joe Bloor, hello. It's funny because the mask. The mask was actually convenient because I needed to cover up the mouth. That was actually convenience more than anything else. Yes, the most common. Yes, Jackie. That's what I'm looking for. Triangle eyes, square teeth, says pushing buttons. Can you be a little more specific than jaggedy mouth, Jackie, please? Dave says no idea. That's okay. Zigzag mouth. Interesting. Then again, what's most common in Australia could be different than what was most common in the United States. Joe says, Merry D-Day Lus dead, everyone. Jeff and Sandy. Hi. Upside down triangle eyes for Jennifer. It's okay, Dave. I'm sure there's going to be stuff you'll know eventually. It's okay. This is where you're going to pick up the culture. There you go. Square missing teeth, says Joe Bloor. Jagged mouth for Jennifer. Halloween is America. Agree, Jackie. We are flattered. Okay, so Jackie says, oh, wait, it's, yeah, that, missing teeth. Yes, okay. Jeff, what do you remember?
I can't describe what I remember. I'd have to see it.
Okay, we can go on. Regardless if you remember different designs or not, they never had evil pointed teeth in my past. So I want you all to look at these pointed teeth. Do you remember this back in the 80s, even the 90s, the 70s, the 60s? Do you remember pointed teeth? Because I do not remember pointed teeth or that giant nose. Even the eyes are wrong. They're curved at the bottom. I don't remember that. They were just triangles. They were just triangles for me. They weren't curved. The nose wasn't huge and the teeth weren't pointed.
Yeah. I agree.
We can go on. The pail I had in my past still exists. However, it is no longer the most common style, and it's much harder to find in vintage and current pictures. So the one with the 3 teeth, that's what I remember. Like, so the green, everything but the pink. The pink is the comparison.
Yeah.
And look at the different.
What you
I'm sorry. Wait. I want them to see the difference. Really look at the eyes and the nose here. Ignore the mouth for a minute. Look at the pink eyes and nose versus the orange one above it. So the orange eyes are a rounded but straight triangle. The nose is a smaller triangle. And then on the pink one, the bottom of the eye is curved and the nose is much bigger. And I'm going to tell you the pink one is the most common one. Not always pink, but the design is the most common one. All right, now we can go on. Jennifer says no. The front teeth look wrong, says Jackie. Yeah. And when I do find square teeth, it's usually too many teeth. I remember only seeing 3. Now there's 4, 5, even 6 teeth. Now I will say the one on the right I may have seen before, but the one on the left on the top, absolutely not. Absolutely not.
I never saw that either. Never. That's ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. The pointed teeth appear to be the most common style in online photos and appear in photos dating back to the 1960s.
Wait a minute. Hold up.
Yeah, it's got a beard and a patch. It's pirate. I know.
Yeah, I never saw that ever.
So I'm saying there's all these weird ones.
They never had such a variety like that.
Mm-mm.
That's it.
As for the eyes, they were just plain triangles for me. Now they're almost always arched on the bottom. So my pass is on the right. The eyes on the left are wrong for me.
And they're too far apart.
They're too far apart because the nose is huge.
Yeah, the nose was never that big. That's like a Jew pumpkin.
Jeff can say that because he's Jewish.
Not technically.
Yeah.
Well, I am, but I'm not.
Brian MacFarlane had never seen the pointy teeth before. Then he went and checked old photos of his son on Halloween and was shocked to see the pointy teeth on his son's pail. So the picture on the left is his son trick-or-treating the year before. It was October, or maybe it wasn't the year before. I can't read that. It's in red. Is that 2018? Do you see it? October underneath? What does it say?
16.
2016. So, okay, so that's October 2016. Brian had never seen the pointed teeth before. And here his son's pail had pointed teeth. They used to be cute. That just doesn't look cute. Go ahead. So here's ads from back in the 80s, and all the teeth are pointed on the pumpkins. And then here's a wall of pumpkins for sale, all pointed teeth. It is the most common design. Thank you for stopping over on Rumble, Splatter. I appreciate that. Right, I agree, Richard. One color, orange. I don't remember all the crazy colors, but it doesn't appear the colors showed up until like the late 90s, early 2000s. Like even this old 70s Woolworths ad has pointed teeth. And at least has the S. Keep going. Now this is a personal Mandela for me. We had this pumpkin light in my house. He had square teeth, and they're pointed now. So here's even an ad to buy it. It was only 83 cents back in the day. This pumpkin did not have pointed teeth. It did not. Or jack-o'-lantern, whatever you want to call it. It's a jack-o'-lantern scarecrow that lights up. And I'm sorry, the teeth were not pointed on this. We had this. It was the normal square teeth. The nose wasn't huge like that. And the eyes weren't curved. The whole thing's wrong. Go ahead. Jackie, Woolworths was started here. And I don't know if they're the same chain or not because the logo and the colors were different. Woolworths was a 5 and 10, and it's a Mandela effect because in the U.S. it was Woolworth now, and it was always Woolworths with an S for me. But you can still find Woolworths, which is weird. But it started out as, I forget his initials. It was the guy's initials. So I'm going to make these up right now. I don't remember what it was, but it was like F.W. Woolworth, 5 and dime. And no, it was never Woolworth. It was Woolworths, always for me. So here is a Kmart ad again with the pointed teeth on the pails and the light. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can find Woolworths, but then there's also Woolworth. So it says true vintage pre-1960s, and it's showing a weird pumpkin face I've never seen before, and then a pointed one. And then a pin. Dave says always Woolworths for me. Maybe I should show that really quick so they can see the difference. Go ahead, Jeff. It's just amazing to me how many different... I also don't remember those really tall pumpkins, but that could just be a decoration we didn't have. Do you remember the really tall ones on the left, Jeff? Bottom left?
Yeah.
Okay, so we just didn't have them. But again, the pointed teeth. Oh, the middle one. Can you zoom in on that? Because that is an old picture, like 1963 or 61. And look at the pail. Look at that pail. Can you look at that pail? It looks like the teeth are sticking out of the pail.
All those are creepy.
Halloween costumes were creepier back then.
Yeah. I guess that's the point, though, so they pulled it off.
Hello, Splatter One in Rumble. Oh my gosh. You paid $8.90 for a quarter of a watermelon? Oh my gosh. That's $28 a watermelon. What am I saying? It's $36 a watermelon. You see that? That's $36 for a watermelon. That is sickening. I've also never seen a black one. Never. With the orange? Have you?
A black one? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen the black ones, but they didn't have those teeth or those eyes. It was like what we remember, but it was black. But they were rare. I maybe saw a couple before, not a whole bunch. I definitely never saw a blue one.
If I can't find this, then we're going to have to skip it.
That was it.
I know. I'm looking for something really quick. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Oh my gosh. Do you remember when I made up initials for Woolworths? I said I don't remember what the guy's name was. I totally guessed correct. It was FW Woolworth. I can't find it, guys. And we don't have time for me to go looking for it. So if I find it, we'll show it tomorrow. But I think it's worth, like, I will show a picture. I'll send it to Jeff. I'll show a picture of the problem, just so you guys can see. Give me 1 second, Jeff. Save image. I'm saving an image to send to you to put on the screen. Now, I will say, what I'm trying to do is show the difference for people who, because we have more than one person in the chat right now from Australia, and I get it. It is confusing. Oh gosh. Hold on. I'm trying to show the difference because it is very confusing. Oh, good. That's a postcard. That's perfect. One second, guys. Okay. Wow, that's weird. That's even weirder. All right, Jeff, I am sending you a couple photos on Messenger. Can you pull them up, please?
Yeah.
All right. So the order I'm sending them in is the order I want you to show them. As soon as, there we go. Okay. All right, so as Jackie was talking about in the chat, I don't know if they're the same. I'll look into it for tomorrow. But there are two different Woolworths.
What?
The Woolworths that's overseas, and then Woolworths that was in America. I don't know if they're the same company or if they're different companies. Okay? But the one in Australia, and I believe the UK, this is what it looks like. Okay? And it always had the S. In my past, the one in the USA always had the S. Always. Okay? Now I can't speak on it when it had back in the day when it had the guy's initials. So if you go to the next slide, it'll show back in the day. This is the U. Oh, you're going the wrong way. All right, now these are out of order for some reason. So this is what I remember. This was my Woolworths. The only Woolworths I have ever been to, and it has an S on the end. That is what I remember. Okay? However, next slide. Let's look at the bag that you would get at that Woolworths. There is no S on it. It's just Woolworth. And that makes no sense because the store was Woolworths. Now, my presentation also has stores that also do not have the S on it in the USA. So there's two reality Woolworths in the United States. So if I could find the presentation, I'll show it tomorrow because it's much more clear. There should be another image, though. You may have to leave and come back.
No, there isn't. That's all I got.
Here, I'll send it to you separately. There it is.
There's one.
So, FW Woolworth Company. There's no S. That's what Woolworths in the United States started as. So, again, it was always Woolworths for me, but FW Woolworth was before my time. I didn't have that store in my town. It was just Woolworths. But it is confusing because there's I'll find out if it's one or two companies. I'm going to try to find the presentation. But now, hey Boston Ray. Yeah, so again, I fell asleep unintentionally. And because of that, this was not the show that I had planned. We still have one other thing to get to, which is Jeff's segment. But
Actually,
tomorrow
let's save
night,
that for tomorrow.
you want to
It's
save
better.
it for tomorrow?
Yeah, we'll open with that tomorrow.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. So anyway, we're gonna have a show tomorrow night, but early. Probably like around 8 or 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm actually gonna set up the show right after this show, so that way people know ahead of time because it's an odd time. Yeah. So this was not the show. This was just the. Sorry guys, we're actually doing the show tomorrow night. But yeah. All right. So you want to save that part? It's gonna make the show a lot longer.
That's
You're
fine.
okay with that? Okay.
That's better for tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Do you want to do like one more then?
No, I'm starting to crash. That's why I want to save it too.
Oh, okay. All right, guys. So we're gonna have to call it here. But we will see you tomorrow night. And as soon as I have the StreamYard up and have the show up for tomorrow, I'll post it on the community tab. And I'll post it on X too. Because again, it's an odd time, so I want to make sure as many people see it as possible. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Jeff, do you want to do a shout out? Can you see anybody?
I can see some, not much.
You're scrolling more than I can scroll.
There we go. Yeah, but that takes a while. I can only do so much. Let's see.
Welcome, Larry Schulte.
All right, we have Jackie McCarran, Kenraz, Noise Guru pushing buttons, Austin Ray, Michael Fontaine, Splatter, Analog Lime was here, Noise Guru, Curiouser was here, Mr. Super, Dave the Damo, Cuberts, there's got to be a couple more, right? Jennifer.
Yep.
Euler Greg, too. Mustard Seed of Faith.
Yep.
Joe Bloor. And
Larry Schulte.
Richard Minnick. Ryan S.
Oh, I didn't even see Ryan. Hey, Ryan. I think you got everybody. If there's anyone else, I missed them too.
Yeah. Yep. And Larry, you said. Larry Schulte.
You got Joe Bloor?
Yeah. Yeah, that's everybody.
All right, guys. So again, sorry for the short show, but you get 2 shows out of this. And like I said, I will post it as soon as it's up. And we'll see you tomorrow night. Have a great night, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Smash the tube, smash the tube, smash the tube, smash the tube. Turn the strap off, 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 please turn it off. Why must we watch Friends? 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 I've seen this show about 1,000,000 times. Not even funny when I'm drunk or high. Why must we watch Friends? 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 I'm telling you now for the 100th time. To change the channel, this show is a crime. Why must we watch Friends? 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 That laugh track is so annoying to me. They wouldn't need it if the show was funny. Why must we watch Friends? 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 There's so much better ways to spend my day than watch TV sing down a cat so smelly. Why must we watch Friends? 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 Why must we watch Friends?